Hey mini enthusiasts, how you doing? Welcome back. I thought we'd squeeze in another episode of the ERA build before Bingley Hall mini show. And you join us at the back here. This is just carrying on from last week, where we finished all the panel work on the car, and as you can see, the boot floor there has been taken right back to shiny bare metal. Really just for peace of mind, so Mark knows there's nothing hiding behind any stone chip under sealer, seam sealer or anything like that. So obviously with bare metal applying paint, you've got to be quite careful. You need to apply an etch primer which has an acid in it. I think it's phosphoric acid, and that chemically bonds to the metal as opposed to a standard primer which doesn't have phosphoric acid in it. So if it's bare metal, you should always use etch primer. Just ensures it doesn't flake off or peel off later. And then Mark's obviously just starting the really boring job now of doing the rest of the floor pan. I think at the end of Wednesday's video I did stick a photo in of the floor pan all looking nice and shiny. But it's quite a long and boring job. Various different tools, from sort of flat discs, wire wheels, strip discs needed. I guess you could try putting some sort of paint stripper like nitramores on it when you're at this stage. Obviously the nitramores won't be much use against sort of thick heavy stone chip, but when the paint's quite thin like it is now, it might work. Maybe you have to give that a try sometime. It's just a bit messy using sort of chemicals like that.
Boring. Be back in 5.
Well, not sure what happened there, but I think Mark must have got bored of filming that, or that 5 in between that 5 minutes coming in and going out. The fairies must have come and finished off that bit. But as you can see, it's all back to bare metal now, looking really good. The black bits are cure rust, so just for peace of mind really. So it's where you've not got perfectly flat panels and where there's joins in the panels and spot welds. Mark just put a bit of cure rust on there just to be kind of 100% sure really. And Mark's just going over it with panel wipe now, just to make sure there's no grease or anything which might contaminate the etch primer. So one thing I'm interested in, if someone knows, occasionally I've needed to put some primer on. It's not been bare metal, and the only primer I've had is etch primer. So I've put etch primer on it and no problem, to be honest. I've not noticed any difference. Is etch primer the same as just normal primer with phosphoric acid in it? I.e., can you use it the other way around? Can you just use that etch primer on Paintwork? Like I say, I have. It's not really caused me a problem in the past. I just wasn't sure whether you could do or whether you should do. If there's any reason why you shouldn't. Obviously, the other way around, you wouldn't use normal primer on bare metal because you need that etch, that phosphoric acid in there. Mark's just going around with seam sealer now. There's a few different ways of doing seam sealer. Mark's just brushing it on with brushable seam sealer, which tends to sort of match how it was done from new. A lot of it is brushed on the later NPI and minis. I think it looks, well, a bit of both really. Mark does have like the applicator gun, which I used on PL and he used on kit as well, so I'm assuming he might use that at some stage. It just gets a bit messy using a gun. Not sure what make of seam sealer it is. I think it's called White Stripe or something like that. I think Mark used most of a tin on the car. So fingers crossed I can get this video uploaded and out tonight, which means it's Saturday. So it's the day before Bingley Hall mini show. So that means myself and Mark will already be up there. So we're going up there, staying up there tonight. And Mark's got a car on display tomorrow. So it's a green, not sure what green it is. I should know. It's a light green. It's a Mark 1 minivan. I'm sure you'll see it there. It will have his sign writing on the side. Very, very nice minivan. Had to do a bit of last minute paintwork on it because it's painted in cellulose, and unfortunately Mark dripped a bit of brake fluid on the wing, didn't realise, and it got left and it just ate all the way through the paint. So this week Mark was just doing a bit of a wing paint repair on that. But yeah, quite looking forward to the show. As I say, going up today. My wife's going up as well, so is Mark. So we're meeting a few other guys up there and probably have a curry tonight. Looking forward for the show tomorrow. I've got lots of bits I need to get for Sprout. I'm sure Mark will have lots of bits he needs to get or wants to get anyway. I think he's actually got most of the parts for the ERA. When there was a sale on at Minisport over Christmas, Mark took advantage of that and pretty much ordered everything he needed. I think just went on a bit of a spending spree, took advantage of the discounts. So that's looking good now. Obviously the etch prime seam sealed. These last couple of episodes have been really nice actually, because it really feels like we're making progress. You seem to spend days and weeks and months just cutting, grinding, welding, doing all really boring stuff, and when you get to bits like this, it's nice to start kind of seeing the finished article. And at this stage there's no surprises either. It's not like you're working on it, you're going to unearth another big hole or a bit of rust or something that's not fitted right. That is it now. It's really a case of putting it all back together now. And now obviously stonechip is going on, so Mark's using U-Pole Gravitex. I think it might be Gravitex Raptor, not quite sure, but it's U-Pole Gravitex anyway. Used it on kit, used it on bolt. It's really, really good actually. Goes on really well, really hard. It just does a great job, quite good coverage, gives a nice finish. You can thin it down for a smooth finish, but most people just go for sort of the orange peel finish, which is very much like the factory finish. So I just wanted to say thanks for all the comments, thumbs up, likes, and for the last video. I was a bit unsure whether to show it. It was a bit controversial with showing a bit of danger. Just because, yeah, it was a bit of a silly mistake. Like I say, I was laughing my pants off over it. I cut the video a bit short, but there's a few seconds after, I've just got a massive grin on my face, just laughing at Mark. I did genuinely think it was pretty funny. Obviously, it's not very safe. You shouldn't do it, but it was quite funny. So, you know, thanks for the comments. I know it's some very funny comments as well about Mark's reaction. Yeah, and Jeff, again, thanks to everyone that does leave comments and give the thumbs up. Really do appreciate it. It's nice to see. You know, I'll upload a video, go back to it, you know, and literally, I think that video went and had a look after about an hour and a half, and it had 600-700 views and sort of 60-70 thumbs up, which is just amazing. Really, you know, really just sort of motivates you and keeps you going. So, thank you. Obviously, Mark's carrying on with a stone chip in here. The whole underside gets done up, all the way up inside the wings, wheel arches, up behind the rear valance, which is quite difficult to get to. So as you can see, right at the top of the wings there. Now, I haven't done that on Sprout actually. The inside of my wings at the top are bare and they're waxed. But horses for courses, I guess. If Project Sprout was on a spit, I would do it like Mark's done it here. But that's better than it would have been from new. It would have just been left bare paint at the top of the underside of the inner wings there. But like I say, Gravitex is really good, gives good coverage, really good protection. They do it in different colours as well. This is obviously black. I've got some to do Sprout and it's white. So it used 4 cans to do the whole underside of that car, and it's not particularly expensive. I think it's about 12-13 quid a can. And you could probably do it for a little bit less. You could probably be a bit more sparing with it. But yeah, I'm never quite sure whether to use black or white. My thinking is with Sprout, because of the colour, I thought if I use white and some of the paint chips off, you're going to see the Gravitex underneath, which will be white, which won't stick out as much as black, but not quite sure. You can colour Gravitex as well. You can add paint colour to it, so you can put it on coloured. Mark's obviously just going over and Scotch Brighting the whole lot now. Now, I'm not sure whether this is absolutely necessary. I think Mark asked a friend who's a painter and he recommended doing it, but just making sure really that the base coat going on's got something to adhere to. So I'm sure it'll probably go straight on to Gravitex okay. But you know, just belts and braces really, just Scotch Bright it up a bit, making sure it's got a key, and that will stop it chipping and flaking. Now this is interesting actually. So when Mark done kit, it was a real problem with fumes inside his garage, and he's got an extractor, but it's quite a big one. It's in the little workshop on the side, and it does a reasonable job, but it's not like having a spray booth where you've got multiple extractors. Mark has just received yesterday actually a thing called a Spray Mate, which is like a proper, much bigger extractor designed for the purpose. So unfortunately Mark didn't have it at this point. I think it would have really helped, but when it comes to doing the top side, the bodywork, he's got a proper professional extractor which has got all the filters and everything like that in it. So the one he's got at the moment does all of that, but it's just much smaller, and as you can see with this, it's just not up to it really. It's okay, it does extract it, but it's just, it doesn't keep up with the spraying. lacquer's starting to look really good with a bit of colour going on it now. It really does feel like we've achieved quite a lot. I'm not quite sure why Mark hasn't taped off the rest of the... Oh, I do know why he hasn't taped it off yet, because he's ordered some special spray painting curtains which will go down that sort of I-beam that you can see to the left of the picture. So where the motor is for the garage door, there's a I-beam, H-beam, whatever you want to call it, RSJ, I don't know, runs the width of the garage, so he's got a proper curtain, a flame retardant one, to go up there. So when he puts that spray mate extractor in there, it will become negative pressure. I know he was talking about it. Mark knows far more about spraying than I do, but you need negative pressure, and with the extractor and the curtain, it creates that. So the whole underside is being lacquered as well. Now this wouldn't have happened from factory, but again, it just gives a bit more protection. It's another layer of paint. It makes it very, very easy to clean when it's lacquered. So where you get that orange peel finish, if you get dirt on it, trying to wipe it off, it kind of stays there a little bit. But if you put some lacquer on there, it makes it really easy to clean it off. And like I say, just adds an extra layer of protection, and it looks flipping great as well. It looks really good. So there we go. Look at that. It's absolutely amazing, doesn't it? Can't wait to start bolting new parts onto that now. And it's so nice to know, you know, that peace of mind that's been back to shiny bare metal. So thank you very much for watching this update. We're at Bingley tomorrow, so tap us on the shoulder, come and say hi if you want. And yeah, it'd be good to see some of you maybe. But if you're not going, unlucky. Have a great evening. Thanks for watching.